Hey guys, so this one is going to be really important, okay? This is probably the number one reason why you hear a lot of people saying appointment setting is a scam or it's saturated when it really isn't, okay? It's because of this exact thing right here that I'm going to break down in this video. This is something that I've been burnt by, and it's what it gets a lot of appointment setters that are just starting out as well. So it's very important that you watch this video before you go any further on your journey, because if you don't, I promise this will get you and it will bite you in the ass and it will hurt and it will sting and it will leave a bad taste in your mouth. So it's very important that you understand. And it's the payment structure that you're going to be offered when you first land your first appointment setting position, especially as a beginner. If you have no leverage, you have no background experience, and someone's just taking their shot on you, taking their chances of giving you a position, they will try and offer you this payment structure. And that is pay per sale. And as you can see here, it's an absolute scam, right? Pay per sale only works well if you're a closer, or if you're a sales rep, if you're the person that actually takes the appointment, right? If you are responsible for the person paying, then pay per sale makes sense. But here's the thing, us as appointment setters, we are responsible for getting the person to book the call. After they book the call, whether they close or not, whether they pay or not, whether they even show up for the call or not, is no longer in our control, okay? After we get them to book the call, our job's done because we have no control after that. So these guys that are trying to pay per sale, right, for an appointment setter, these guys that are trying to pay you this, it's often just a way to get free work out of you, okay? And honestly, to be totally transparent, a business that is actually doing well and is actually credible and is actually a business that you want to be a part of, they won't offer you something like pay per sale. Because here's the thing, right? If they wanted to get cheap work out of you, right, and they're a legit business and they wanted to just get cheap work out of you for the honest excuse of they want to see you prove yourself first, if that was the case, right, they'd pay you a really low rate per appointment, okay, or a very low base salary. They wouldn't pay you per sale because any good business owner knows that for an appointment setter, this is unfair. This is incredibly unfair. We book the appointment. We aren't responsible for them closing. There's three people that are responsible for whether the deal closes or not, okay? And that's number one is the person that actually booked the call and is actually interested in buying the program. Okay, it's up to them whether they pay or not. Number two, it's down to the person that is taking the sales call, so possibly the closer, okay? Possibly another person on this guy's team. Or number three, maybe that person isn't big enough to have a sales closer yet, so they take the calls themselves, okay? And then it's down to them as the business owner. But to be honest, the person that's most responsible for all of this is the person that is running the business. They need to have systems in place that predictably close leads and close clients and close deals and close appointments, right? They need to have systems in place that allow leads to show up to the calls effectively and leads to actually close on the call. We don't have any control of this. We book them into the call. We have no control whether they show or if they close. That is down to the business owner now. So pay per sale and also pay per show. I should put pay per show on here as well. Pay per show and pay per sale, they're both things that are out of our control. Okay, pay per show especially. We can do all we can to get them to try and show up to the call. But again, it's also down to the business owner to have systems in place to make sure they've got a good show up process. And number two, if the person's going to book the call and they decide I'm not going to show up for the call anymore, that's down to them. I can't change their mind if they just go, yeah, I'm not going to show up. I can do my best, but I can't guarantee that I can convince them to actually change their mind, right? So this is something you need to be really aware of because a lot of beginners fall for this. Any successful business that is actually credible and is actually like doing it for the reasons of wanting to prove yourself, they'll understand that this is an unfair structure. Okay, so the businesses that offer this to appointment setters, I'd recommend to run a mile from. Now, let me just make this clear. I'm not saying that every single business that offers this is a scammer. Like they're not. It's just it's a dodgy way of paying an appointment setter for their work. Okay, because again, it's being paid for something that's out of our control. So just be very aware. It does work. Okay, I've seen it work. It does work for some offers, but to be honest, like it's not really worth your time unless they've got a massive lead flow. They've got a 40% closing rate. I'll get into that in a second. They've got massive lead flow, good closing rate, and it's a really good business. And there's track record of appointment setters that are on this structure making good money beforehand, before you come in. Then I'd potentially consider it. But honestly, kind of as a rule of thumb, anytime you hear this, I'd run. Okay, the minimum thing I'd expect and accept would be to get paid per appointment. Okay. Even if it's just £10 or £20 per appointment, at least you're being paid for the work you're actually doing and the work you're actually responsible for, okay? So a bit of a story. This is how I got done, okay? This is actually how I got burnt and it's the reason why I feel so passionate about this. I was working on a position that said they pay me per close, right? They had a 3K offer. They told me they had loads of leads coming through. Oh yeah, and they had a 40% closing rate, which sounded great. And I believed them. And I didn't do any further research or question them or challenge them on that. They just told me, yeah, we've got 100 leads coming through a day. We've also got a 40% closing rate. Turns out both of those were false. Okay, there were not 100. Actually, there were 100 people coming through per day on the followers list on their accounts. But I'd say, like, honestly, about 80% of them weren't qualified leads. So I couldn't even message them anyway. And number two, I booked them about 60 appointments in the space of 2 months, okay, which is already crap in terms of lead flow. They closed 2 of my deals. They closed 2 of my deals. And I got paid about 700 quid total for the entire 2 months of work. Waste of my time. I would have made more at a normal job, right? So when someone tells you we've got all of this lead, yeah, we've got a pay per sale model, but we've got loads of leads and our closing rate's amazing. If they say that to you, question them and challenge it, okay? Because if you are going to do this, for it to be successful, there needs to be a credible business with a lot of lead flow coming through, right? And they need to have a good sales process and a good sales system and closing rate. So you need to really, really challenge them on it, because they will just say that to you. This is the thing, because nobody wants to be paid per sale, okay? So the way they'll get you is they'll say, yeah, but we've got really good closing rate. We've got really good systems. You need to challenge it and see proof. Don't just take what they say for, gospel, because a lot of the time they'll lie to you, okay? And that's what happened to me. So be very cautious of that. That will honestly be one of your number one downfalls of getting into appointment settings if you don't understand this, okay? Go for pay per appointment, even if it's 10, 20 pounds per appointment. If you need to prove yourself, just say, look, I'll do 10 pounds per appointment for 2 weeks. But at least that way you're getting paid. Because if you're doing it to prove yourself on a pay per sale model and they've got a terrible business, yeah, you're proving yourself, but you're also not getting paid at the same time. And it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth, and you may as well just carry on working at your 9 to 5, okay? So yeah, that is honestly a very crucial thing you need to understand before you get into this space. It's very important you watch this video and understand this before you keep going, because this is just one of the many things that you need to know to be successful with appointment setting, okay? And saying that, quick plug, if you want to learn exactly how to do this properly with no mistakes and just avoid all of the common mistakes, number one, appointment setters make, okay? And number two, the mistakes that I actually made, okay? And learn the correct path the right way and download 2 years of my knowledge into your brain and have me hold your hand the entire way and get you out of that dead-end job that I know you hate in the space of just a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Then there's going to be a link down below in the description to book a call with me. Book a call, I'll run you through exactly how I can help you and get you out of that dead-end job and do this correctly the first time, okay? Because if you don't, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. Again, if you hadn't watched this video, you'd probably fall for this. So if you wanna learn how to do this properly, book a call down below. Full transparency will be a sales call, so if you don't wanna be sold to, if you don't wanna be pitched, then don't book it. But if you are actually serious about making this work and doing it right quickly the first time, there's gonna be a link down below, book a call with me, and I'll show you how to do it.